Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Inside the Big Dynasty League. With me, as always, is the stat man, Petey Cunningham, and the commish, Clyde Randall Waters. What a crazy week in fantasy it was this week, gentlemen.
Every week is a crazy week this season.
That is true.
Especially in the BDL.
Especially in the BDL.
Oh, man. Well, let's take a look at last week's Mama Matchup of the Week.
Mama Matchup of the Week.
All right, last week's Mama Matchup of the Week was between the Chili Slingers and the Unseen Academicals? Or no, get off me.
Get off me.
Get off me. Statman, break this one down for me, buddy.
This was a really good matchup. Both teams were 1-3 entering the week. Needed the win badly to stay in the playoff hunt. This one came down to the end of Sunday Night Football.
Ooh, it all comes down.
And I was
Sunday
with
night.
Chili Slingers. And it was not a pretty sight. Get off me pulls off the win by 4 points. Because Russell Wilson, with the Seahawks up 21, late in the fourth quarter, I think there was like 2-3 minutes to go, throws a 25-yard touchdown pass on fourth down. The Seahawks, I can't stand that team. I can't stand that team.
I feel like Pete Carroll just plays like he's still in college football. Every win's got to be a statement win, regardless how much you're up.
He does, but there's just no reason to throw there. Didn't even affect me in any of my games, but it just shows what a jerk move that was by the Seahawks. Cost Chili Slingers the win.
Yes, it did. Let's see here. One thing I want to throw out here is the efficiency ratings in this matchup. Get Hoffme pulling off the win with a 91.7% efficiency rating. Chili Slingers with the loss coming in at an 87% efficiency rating. You know what I think? I think the Chili Slingers have spent too much time ranting in the BDL chat and not enough time focusing on their lineup to get that efficiency rating up.
There might be something to that.
That may be extremely true. He does like to rant.
And if he had the same efficiency rating as Get Hoffman, he would have won this matchup.
Yes, he would have. You know, he tried doing the whole zero-player thing here with the Tampa Bay defense, but you can't do zero-player and win with the defense role. It doesn't work like that.
No, it's got to be a position player.
Got to be a position player.
Good matchup of the week this week.
Oh, it was good. I love
Definitely.
when it comes down to the last minute like that. It's just awesome. It's epic. I also really love doubleheader weeks.
Yo, me too.
They're exciting.
They are.
Speaking of doubleheader weeks, what other matchups out of the 5 million we get to choose from this week do we want to talk about? Commish, why don't you pick one for me?
Any other notable matchups? Well, we could talk about a bunch of losses this week, but that's not exciting. So, what if we look at the Wayne Enterprises and Niners matchup?
Ooh,
Let's do it.
that was exciting.
It was a high scoring matchup here. We had Wayne Enterprises putting up 153 points, and the Niners 144 points. Big win here between some powerhouse teams in the BDL.
Championship teams.
And what's interesting here is Wayne Enterprises effectively used the 0-player rule on a position player, Taylor Gabriel, 0 points. Which is surprising considering almost all of Atlanta's receivers end up going out in that game, yet Taylor didn't get any points.
I will say the Niners tried to do the 0-player with the 2.7 from Sammy Watkins and the 2.9 from Amari Cooper, but they just couldn't quite be bad enough.
No, just couldn't do it.
No, this really came down to just the 69ers. They had Cam Newton and Todd Gurley with big performances. They got 28 from that Seahawks defense. But really, I mean, Melvin Gordon, 3.9. Cooper, 2.9. Watkins, 2.7. I mean, these are guys that have been over 10 seemingly almost every week this year.
Right.
They didn't come through for him, so just a rough week for him. But he also got 37 from Newton and 34 from Gurley, which is way above average. So just peaks and valleys on that team.
Definitely. And let's see here, if the Wayne Enterprises had started their most effective roster and the Niners started the most effective roster, we would have had a flip here with the Niners winning 164 to Wayne Enterprises at 162. This was a very even matchup this week. It's just the Niners had some injuries that came in to plague the roster this week.
Yep. Just lucky to get the win in this one.
Man, exciting stuff. Let's move on to our awards of the week. Let's start off this week, as we do every week, Statman, with the Milk Dud of the Week.
Oh.
The dud player who just stunk. Couldn't handle it. Who are we giving it to this week, Statman?
The star was not shining bright this week in Dallas. As Jason Witten got 1.9 points this week. 1 reception, 9 yards for Jason Witten, who I believe was the number 1 tight end coming into this week.
That's going to hurt his numbers.
Yeah, hurts that average. Mr. Clutch was playing me, so it helped me out. But rough week for Jason Witten. And I heard a rumor that Mr. Clutch just got a jersey of that player.
Oh, really?
So he gets Witten's jersey, he's the milk dud. I get Carr's jersey, he gets injured.
Y'all need to quit buying jerseys. You're ruining
We're not
fantasy
buying.
here.
Man.
Ruining fantasy here.
All right, next up, let's take a look at the Ram Pick'em of the Week. Brought to you by Ram Trucks. Yeah. Commish, who we giving this one to?
Oh, this one here goes out, interesting here, second time this season, not really ever happened before, but this is going out to the Lions defense, special teams unit here. Picked up and started by Unseen Academicals.
Literally was not another position player picked up and started.
Oh, wow.
This week. Not a single other one.
Wow.
So, Detroit wins by default.
They won by default.
Which is how most things in that city are won. Just defaulted, no one else tried. Next up, let's take a look at the Whoopin' of the Week, brought to you by Mike's Bodega. We got Pop-Tarts, we got Cheez-Its, we got cookies. Mike's Bodega. Who is getting this one to this week? Commish.
Well, this week, the Whoopin', Wompin', Beatdown of the Week goes out to Los Pandas Desnudos!
Los Pandas Desnudos, Nudos, Nudos.
That's right.
Nudos, Nudos,
Putting down a
Nudos.
65-point margin of victory win over Unseen Academicals.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even see the academics.
Not when I'm beating them like that.
It's just unseen. All right, next up we got the Resurrected Team of the Week, brought to you by Lazarus Department Stores. This award goes out to the team who came back from the dead and was able to pull off a victory. This week we're giving it to the Scarlet Pimps. With their almost 50-point increase, they went 2-0 after 0-2 last week. And that is how you bounce back like a champ. Am I not reading that right?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I just realized Statman needs to make a correction. EBDBB is not getting out of this one unscathed. The 65-point win was actually against EBDBB. Los Pandas Desnudos beat Unseen Academicals the previous week.
That's right. I still beat the Unseen Academicals.
But
And I beat the Eskimo Brothers.
I retract all the jokes I made about the Unseen Academicals. You're very academical.
No. There's no no reason to retract those. I feel it's all still very fair.
We will come back to unseen academicals.
Let's come back to making fun of the EBDBB. You're garbage. You've lost so many games.
This team is 0-6.
0-6? Yikes.
Most talented player still in college.
Need to start making some trades.
We did give EBDBB a slide this week because Terrence West got negative 0.7 and we didn't even feel fit to give him the poo-poo player of the week because it's not even worth talking about.
Oh, man.
Okay, we need to just move on. This is piling on.
Next up.
He wasn't even supposed to be brought up.
Next up, we got the Poopery Poo-Poo Team of the Week. And this one, if my notes are correct, is going to the Unseen Academicals with only 88 points. Statman, how'd they do it?
They did it by their players being terrible. That's really how they did it. I mean, this was just a rough outing. I mean, they got 20 from that Lions defense as mentioned. They got 15 from Mariota, who got hurt, 15 from Anderson. Everybody else below 10. Everybody else below 8 points. The saddest part is they were 99.5% efficient, which means there was really nobody out there.
There was nowhere to go but down.
That's pretty bad.
All right, and our last award of the week is the Surprise Player of the Week, the Breakout Player of the Week, brought to you by Proactive. Let your players break out, not your face. And that one is going out to who, Kamish?
This one goes out to the rookie, Alvin Kamara. Running back for the New Orleans Saints with a 25.6 point outing this week. Started by Los Pandas des Noodles.
Los Pandas des Noodles.
2 awards this week and both of them good.
Yes. It's been a long time. It feels good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is our awards of the week. We're going to be right back after this brief commercial break with Ben's Power Rankings. Let me ask you a question. When you're at work, do you get hungry? Do you feel a need for a snack? Do you wish you had a peppermint patty? Well, if any of that's true for you, then I ask you to, if you get hungry, eat something. And get that something at Mike's Bodega. We have cookies, we have Pop-Tarts, we have peppermint patties. We even have handcrafted wood pins in case you go into that meeting with a client, want to impress them, made by Overdale Woodworks. And don't forget, if your back gets itchy, we have high-end back scratchers, both for rent, $1, or for own, $2. And remember, Mike's Bodega is located conveniently in the pit, next to Clyde's Cube and across from Billy's Cube. That's Mike's Bodega. We like our customers, and our customers like us.
I got my back scratcher at Mike's Bodega, and it changed my life.
Welcome to the Power Rankings this week. I am your host, Ben Wagner, and this is my co-host, Ira Wagner, and she could probably outplay the bottom 6 I'm about to list. Let's start out at number 12, the Saquon Barkley Hopefuls. Moving on, we got the Bourbon Barons at number 11. At 10, we got Get Off Me, which is a little lower than we've seen them in past years. Let's see if they can pick it back up. Number 9, we have an interesting wet stuff on your red stuff. I think him having Lacey and Latavius Murray could be intriguing to see if he can actually put together a running back core. I doubt it. Those guys are both kind of slow, kind of old, and having ankle issues, just like Kim Jong-un. At number 8, we got Los Pandas Desnudos. Those naked pandas look like they're putting on a little bit of fur and a little bit of fierceness. Number 7, we have the Unseen Academicals. At number 6, we have the Skyline Chili Slingers. Still waiting on my wiener buns to show up at my door, Timmy. Please. Maybe with some Diablo sauce and chips. Number 5, we have the Mr. Clutch's fake football team. Antonio Brown is literally carrying his team, but Antonio Brown could literally carry any team. Number 4, we have the Scarlet Pinks. At number 3, we have the Convicted Llamas. And at number 2, I have humbly pushed myself down to number 2 at the San Francisco 69ers. And not happy with you, PD, but you beat me. You deserve it. Wayne Enterprises, number 1 in power rankings this week. PD, why don't you come back in and tell me what you think?
Thank you, Ben. It is an honor to be number 1 in the power rankings. You know, it's like Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And so that's really what I was thinking this week with our matchup. Really want to be number one in those power rankings. Overall, I feel like you, me, or Convicted Llamas could all be number one. But happy to be there this week. The only bone I have to pick in these rankings, though, was Unseen Academicals, number 7. I feel like this is a little controversial. They're coming off the Poopery Team of the Week. They only scored 88. Los Pandas this week, or this year. So what was the thought with Unseen Academicals, number 7?
I don't know. I kind of think they're like the Oakland Raiders. Maybe their parts are a little bit better than the sum they showed up with the last few weeks. I think they have some promise there. Their wide receivers scare me a little bit, and he's been pretty vocal about that. But I think he has just enough at running back to make it a decent team that could sneak into the playoffs. I think with the running back injuries as of late, any team that has 2 starting running backs, even one that's currently injured with a broken rib, is better off than a team that doesn't have any.
Got it. That all makes sense. Yeah, Ty Montgomery and C.J. Anderson out there in Denver has looked really good this year. So I could see that. And they do have Deshaun Watson on the bench, who I believe is their highest scoring quarterback for the year so far, but has not brought them up to the big leagues. So that might be something that gives them an extra jolt as they continue their playoff push.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that, do you pull them up or do you leave them down? This could be just a little blip of greatness from Deshaun Watson this year, or this could be the start of everything. We don't know, and I'm glad I don't have to make that call.
I agree. Overall, really good rankings. I'm sure there's still a few people that don't agree with them. Overall, I think you did a very good job, though.
Thank you, PD. Now, if we want to talk about the awful part of these teams, I don't even really want to touch that. But let's talk about something else awful in this world today, and that is Chipotle queso. I don't know if anyone out there has even tried this, but it's basically what you get when you take Rotel and Velveeta and throw it in your microwave. It's that bad. Also, the other portion that I hate about it is that Qdoba sucks. Qdoba is a terrible restaurant. No one should eat there. And Chipotle stooped to their level to create a queso. Queso just mutes the flavors and ruins everything that is good in this world.
See, I'm a big fan of queso. I think queso and chips is phenomenal. If you've not been there, Nada has great queso and chips. I'm just throwing that out there. But as for Chipotle, I know it's taken a long time for this queso to get out there. I feel like the expectations were just sky high for this queso when it comes out, or when it came out, and so it couldn't meet the expectations. But I feel like down the road that people are going to come around to it, and it's going to be like just chips and guac. Now it's just chips and queso instead. Their guacamole is awesome, though. So I just feel like this queso, I feel like there was a lot of hype at the beginning, but it's people are going to come around to it. I really just think it's going to become a staple.
Guess we'll just have to disagree on this one, PD, but I guess we can talk about it in the championship later this year when we're both sitting there.
I love it, Ben.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I almost hit all the buttons I need to hit, but not quite for a smooth transition. All right, thank you, Ben. That was great, man. I really appreciate doing the power rankings. Personally, I'm a big fan of queso. Chipotle's queso is subpar, but I think Qdoba's queso is on point, sir. I might even say it's on fleek. But let's take a look at next week's Mama Matchup of the Week.
Mama Matchup of the Week.
This week's Mama Matchup of the Week is going to be the San Francisco 69ers versus the Scarlet Pimps. They earned this right by not only being former champions, but also the only matchup of teams with winning records right now. Statman, why don't you break it down for me?
Great matchup. Ben ran into one Cunningham sibling last week. He gets the other one this week. Scarlet Pimps hold a 5-1 advantage over this franchise, 4-1 since Ben took over. So I think you could say the Pimps have the 69ers number. Not so confident this week, though. Pimps have Derek Carr, who just got injured. Devonta Freeman, who's hurt. Or no, who's on bye,
Yeah.
Julio Jones, who's on bye, and Terrell Pryor's on bye.
And Julio Jones is kind of hurt.
And Julio Jones is a little banged up,
Yeah.
but I think he's going to be fine.
Yep.
So I think the 69ers look full strength. Adams is showing us a 0. So he's going to have to get him replaced. But I really think the stars are aligned here for the 69ers to get that second career win against the Pimps. 2015 championship rematch right here.
All right. So, Commish, what do you think?
Well, I was inspired. The Pimps owner, Sarah Cummings, came out and she said the statement, "We have to dig deep." That's what she said. I agree. You're going to have to dig real deep into that bench, which to me isn't that deep. So we'll see what you can come up with. But overall, Ben came out, owner of the Niners, and said, we're going to have to dictate the tempo. And I can tell you this right now, it's still early in this week. Matches haven't begun yet. And the tempo has already been dictated.
Oh, man.
So, for me, this big matchup, I'm taking the Niners.
Taking the Niners. Commish is taking the Niners. Statman, who are you taking?
Taking 69ers.
I'm taking the Niners, and that makes this a sweep.
One thing I just want to get this out there real quick. We were picking divisions at the beginning of the year. Sarah gave herself this division with the 69ers, Mr. Clutch, the Pimps, Los Panas Desnudos, Chili Slingers, and Wet Stuff.
Yep.
I believe the bottom 3 in Ben's power rankings were all in my division.
Ooh.
Plus on Teen Academicals, who was 7. I questioned her strategy at the draft and picking this division. Hope it doesn't come back to bite her.
All right, next up, we're going into our 2-minute drill, where we're going to go through the rest of the matchups and see who we're taking. All right, first up, we got Huff Me versus Wayne Enterprises. Statman.
Injuries, or not injuries, I keep saying injuries. Buys are decimating Wayne Enterprises this week. I'm going with Get Off Me.
All right, Commish.
There are a lot of buys this week, but I do think Wayne Enterprises has still a solid core available. I'm going to say a bit of an upset here with Wayne Enterprises taking the win.
I'm taking Wayne Enterprises as well. I think they just know how to win. All right, next up, we got the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons versus the Convicted Llamas. Commish.
I think we're going to have a resurrected team of the week here, with the Llamas bouncing back from that loss last week over the Bourbon Barons.
Statman.
Convicted Llamas.
I'm taking the Bourbon Barons because I always take myself, and I'm an idiot. Next up, we got the Skyline Chili Slingers versus Los Pandas Desnudo. Let's go Statman.
I'm going to Chili Slingers to get this one. I'm sorry.
So, I want to see what it is, but can we get the stat? I've never beaten the... Oh, no. Oh, phew. Chili Slingers are 5-1 against me. I beat them once. I don't remember when that was. It's been a long time. But I'm picking myself here, Los Panas Desnudos.
I'm taking the Chili Slingers. All right, and that puts our last matchup here. Mr. Clutch's fake football team versus Wet Stuff on your red stuff. Statman, who you taking?
Gotta go with Mr. Clutch in this one.
Commish.
Mr. Clutch.
I'm taking Mr. Clutch as well, and that makes this a sweep. Next up, ladies and gentlemen.
We have the matchup that we missed to talk about.
We missed to talk about.
We can't just forget that these teams are in this
know.
league. I mean,
We can't keep forgetting them.
this is
the EBDBB
They're
versus
still
the
part of
Unseen
the
Academicals.
league. EBTBB is still part of this league.
I want to make an official apology. I got a lot going on here. I didn't used to do all this. I just sat here and made comments. Now I have to hit all these buttons. And I got to do it well, and I don't. And I got to
more
think.
than Dan did.
All right. I'm just saying, I apologize, EBDBB and Unseen Academicals.
Anyways.
Let's take a look at your matchup. Statman, who are you taking?
I'll go with the Unseen Academicals.
Commish.
I'm taking the Unseen Academicals.
I'm going EBDBB.
That's a pity vote right there.
It's just, I mean, how can
I
they...
saw that one coming a mile away.
You really think they can go 0-7?
Oh,
Yes.
They might be able to go 0-16.
I think they're going to stumble into a win, and this is their best chance. I just don't see how they go 0-16 or 18, whatever it is. Because we have doubleheader weeks. I don't know, math. All right, we're moving on. Question of the week, Commish.
All right, so last week I threw this question out there, and it turns out it wasn't a question. It was actually a curse. The curse I said was, we have 3 undefeated teams still remaining. Who has the best chance to go the distance and finish the season with the elusive perfect record? Statman, correct me, but has there been a perfect record in this league yet?
No.
No.
There is not.
So, with 3 options, we had the Convicted Llamas, Mr. Clutch's fake football team, and the Niners, all of which are undefeated going into week 4. Again, I'm so impressed. We had everyone in the league participate in this poll. Convicted Llamas, we got 6 votes as being able to go the distance. Mr. Clutch's fake football team, only 2 votes, and the Niners had 4 votes. Turns out none of them could do it because they all lost in week 4.
Ouch.
Anyways, so my question this week, the poll, is this. Chipotle queso, is it a contender or is it a pretender?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. And with that titillating question, we shall leave you for the week. Make sure to get your picks in. Have fun. Set your lineups. Have a good one.